Hey everybody, welcome to Tomorrow's Headlines. Today it's your host, Robin Cunningham with Fireside Grace Ministries. Good to see y'all. I'm happy to be here. I am glad to be doing a Q&A for the Nephilim. So I posted a question on our community YouTube to see what people's questions were about this topic. And there's some really good questions there, so I want to cover those. But first, we'll roll the intro, go through all this stuff, give people time to sign on because nobody's expecting me to be on at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. So we'll get all that done. So let's do an Endangering the Grave intro, shall we? Okay, so here we are from Endangering the Grave. So I'm going to roll our information here. You can partner with us, tithe to us, donate to us, whatever, firesidegrace.com/partner with us. Of course, there's Brandy's Venmo. Cash App is $Fireside Grace. PayPal is at Fireside Grace. And you can send mail to Fireside Grace at P.O. Box 1285, Judsonia, Arkansas 72081. Hold on one second. Lord, thank you for this opportunity, and if I've sinned against you in any way, I ask for your forgiveness and that you cleanse me from head to toe in the blood of Jesus. And Father, I pray that you speak through me, give divine revelation and insight, and seal my mouth if I don't need to say something or shouldn't say something. This is your show. If I am in your way, go through me. Please don't make it so that you have to work around me, and don't let me make it so you have to work around me, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so this is the Q&A. I've already got the questions. So basically, this is the A. Which kind of sounds bad, I guess, but it is what it is. So this is the Q&A. All right, so first things first. I have a friend who's a minister. I won't name them, but they're stranded in Wyoming right now. Their mother passed away. They had to pay funeral costs, drive out to Wyoming for the funeral. The mother was living with them at this point. And she passed away. She's been on hospice for over a month. She had CHF. And so when they were about to come home after the funeral, their car broke down, and they need, let me look here, because he just told me what it was, fuel pump and a computer component. I don't know what that means, but that's what's going on with his car. And also, apparently, his smoke detectors have been going off at his house, and it's creating a nuisance for the neighbors, so he has to get back and get that. So, if you would be interested in helping us support this minister, trust me, it will make a big difference. So when you take care of ministers, when you take care of God's kingdom, it makes a huge difference. We have friends who've been sowing into us for years, and they're just getting return after return after return on their investment into this kingdom work that we're doing. So that's something that you're interested in. Please, all the information's right down here. Go and sow into it. Let us know. Also, there's a person at our church, our local church, who approached us about getting a dog trained, and we're wanting to do that for free. But the only thing that we have to come up with is we want to pay for the person's collar. The collar's like $300, and we have to pay for a few other things that are required for this dog to come to us, in which, let me tell you this, it's not cheap to do a board and train with Brandy. With all the experience and knowledge she has and how good she is at it, it's way, way more, probably 3 to 4 times more than what we want to do. We don't want to do this at any cost to this guy, but we don't have an extra collar, and the collars are expensive. What we use, it's a TENS unit collar that basically vibrates on the neck to let the dog know, hey, pay attention. So we're trying to raise money for that. We're trying to raise $700 for that also. So if you're interested in helping that out, I would recommend going to Brandy's website, expertdogtraining.org, and there should be some way to donate in there as well. So there's that. All right, so let's get into the Q&A. Let's see. And our dogs, update, our dogs all have come home. Millie's come, Alistair and Lydia all came home. We got tracking tags on them now, so if they escape, we'll be able to track them like animals. And some people don't like that. We actually lost somebody to our who was a partner with our ministry because they thought that the mark of the beast was the chips in animals, and I'm like, So, that being said, all that information right there. Remember to like and subscribe, share with your friends and family. Have you seen how many prophecy fulfilleds have come to pass lately? It's like I'm getting notified constantly about prophecy fulfilleds coming to pass. So, it's things that we are going to want to pay attention to. Hold on. I'm drinking this fizzy water. So, when I drink this, it makes me burpy. So, if I start burping into the microphone, please excuse me. I'm not trying to be rude. But I'm thirsty, and we don't have any regular bottles of water. And our faucet water is terrible. All right, Q&A. Let's check it out. All right, now I'm not going to answer these in the order that I received them. I'm going to answer them how they're written, commented on our YouTube channel. Okay, so number one. Can fallen angels move around in the lake of fire? From what people who went to hell have said, they torture people. They don't say anything about screaming because of the fire. Why would God make a torturous place for fallen angels that doesn't adversely affect them? Or is it the principalities, he probably means principalities, and powers that torture people while the angels are off burning? Well, the angels right now are not thrown into the lake of fire yet. They are chained in doom and gloom, except for Satan. There's a reason Satan's been let loose, but that's part of God's plan in what Satan's doing and how he's the leader and everything. He was the original Nephilim, Nephalta. Angels, sure, people move around in the lake of fire, but basically you're just buffeted in wave after wave, and I don't know if anyone's actually in the lake of fire right now, but there will be. So as far as do angels torture people in hell? No, that's demons. Demons and angels are not the same thing. And no, the next question here is, we humans are fallen angels who chose to leave our first estate to be born of strange flesh and are now trapped in this host body system of duality, our inner angel being continuously consumed by our inner demon until we die naturally and enter eternal damnation, never having willingly and earnestly chosen redemption, freedom, and eternal life through the blood of Jesus Christ. Everything about that is messed up. There's nothing right about in that whole thing. So to answer your question, can fallen angels move in the lake of fire? Pretty much anybody can, but I don't think they're in the lake of fire right now. The people who've gone to hell have not seen angels torturing anybody, and if they have, they're confused and they've been deceived by demons. Angels aren't torturing anyone in hell. It's demons. Demons are the disembodied spirits of the Rephaim. You can see that all through even what the name of the idols were, which we know idols are representations of demons. In Hebrew, the original name of the idols was Rephaim, okay? And it's spelled T-R-A-P-H-I-M, which means T-Raphim, or T-Rapha, but the T is silent. So people say, well, that's the teraphim, That's not teraphim, the T is silent. It's Rephaim, but it's the word for idols, and it has a tov in the beginning of it. So that's something that you need to pay attention to. Also, it says that the spirits that rise up in Isaiah 14, when it's talking about Lucifer, and it's not Lucifer, it says Hallel, oh Hallel, how you've fallen. That's Satan's original name. It has the name of God in it, E-L-L, which means God, the shining light of God. It doesn't just mean shining one, okay? Angels usually have the name of God in them. You think Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, it's these different angels, okay? So when it says that the hell beneath is stirred up to meet you, the spirits of the dead, it doesn't say the spirits of the dead. It doesn't say the Ruach Mut or Mut. It says the Rephaim. Well, where do we see Rephaim? That's in Genesis 14, and that's talking about the creatures, the names they have, the Hazuzim and the I can't remember all the names of them right now, but Hazuzim is the main one. It means the goat people. So they were doing all of this stuff and altering their DNA again, and so that's where they came back. So anyway, moving along here, humans are fallen angels. Wrong. We are not. It specifically says that Satan is a fallen angel, Nephilim. We, humans, are not Nephilim. We're not fallen ones, okay? Fallen angels were not having sex with human women and creating hybrids. That did not happen. They don't have the same DNA. As far as I know, they don't have the bits and pieces. According to Kevin Zadai, they don't have the anatomy to have babies, and they don't want to have babies. Think about this. Satan hates babies. He would have to have compassion on his own children in order to raise them up somehow, and he can't. He's not capable of it. Okay. Let me just look and see if anybody's commenting right now here real quick. There are Nephilim all around us. An example, Chris Angel, performer in Vegas, is one. He's not a fallen angel. He's a human being. Okay? Human beings are not Nephilim. Nephilim is specifically the angels. All right. I'm going to continue to look here. And so the strange flesh reference, that's Jude 1:7. That word that's used in there is actually heteros sarkos. Heteros means altered or transformed. It does not mean strange. It means altered or transformed flesh. Sodom and Gomorrah chased after altered and transformed flesh. Well, if you read back into Genesis 14 and then continue to read from there, it says that the altered flesh, or that Sodom and Gomorrah was the home of the Rephaim. And those are the altered demons, the altered human beings, which are still here on this earth, by the way. They didn't all disappear when the Tower of Babel fell. But that's something you get into another time. Unless you want to know, then ask the question and I'll answer it. Okay, so we're not here just waiting to die because we're trapped inside this host body of fighting our inner demons and inner angels, okay? We don't have an angel inside of us. We have the Holy Spirit inside of us. We are messengers. The word malek and the word agelos or angelos in Hebrew and Greek means messenger, but that can mean a messenger as in a demon, a messenger as in an angel, or a messenger as in a human, so you have to discern the context of that. Okay, does Satan still occupy the second heaven? Yes, as far as I know, he still does. It says his throne's in Pergamum. Most people think that is the actual city that it's saying where his throne is set up, but that's not the case. Pergamum means in between in Greek. And if you read in Ezekiel, I want to say 28, when the angel takes Ezekiel up by the hair, he grabs him by the hair and pulls him up in the air, and it says he takes him through the in-between, through visions, through the in-between to Jerusalem. So that's the second heaven. The second heaven in the Bible is referred to as the in-between. Okay, so that's what we call the second heaven. It's not called the second heaven typically. So Satan is still there, yes. He is also, it says in the Bible, he was thrown to earth. So he can go back and forth between the second and third heaven, and that's the visible and invisible realm. But they both overlap this first heaven realm, okay? Accepting that demons are actually fallen spirits of human hybrids. If hybrids can produce offspring, where do their spirits come from, since God does not create evil, but offers mercy to humans? A person who hybridized themselves, taking the mark of the beast, would be lost, but what about their progeny? Perhaps some were sterile and others could produce human-type progeny. Okay, so that's a good question. I've seen demons that are babies, that look like babies. So I don't know what to tell you there. God did not create their spirits, but they mixed their spirits in with beasts. They were given the opportunity to choose God, so there's that. Accepting that demons are actually fallen spirits of human hybrids. Hybrids can produce offspring. Where do their spirits come from? It's a combination. It's a combination of a human spirit mixed with one or various other animal spirits, and they come out. Their spirits still look as twisted and deformed as they do. I want you to go look up on Google what it looks like when dinosaurs stand straight up, because dinosaurs didn't all walk on their feet. They walked standing up like humans. They had hair. They had feathers. They had extra rows of teeth. They had extra fingers. Take a look at the anthropomorphic hieroglyphs that they say date back to 5,400 years ago or 6,000 years ago or whatever. Look at those. You'll see that they're humans mixed with animals. Some of them, there's dinosaur petroglyphs also, or rock carvings, right? So pay attention to that. Look at those things. If you want to know what dinosaurs look like, that's what they look like, okay? So their spirits, when they become disembodied, they become disembodied spirits, right? The the whole thing here is that this person is coming with a now. Okay, so it says perhaps some were sterile and others could produce human type progeny. Some probably were sterile. Yeah, that probably happened. But our DNA was different then. Now, by today's standard, because they've had to genetically alter themselves in order to perpetuate themselves or intermingle with human beings. That's why you see abductions. The abductions and stuff that actually happens. They take them. They actually do take their seed, take their sperm, take eggs, impregnate women and stuff like that, because they're trying to perpetuate their seed. But it has to be all done genetically because they basically altered themselves away so much that they can't reproduce. But some of them might be able to. There are still some things that were alive before the flood that are living in the ocean that still can. So we'll see that come back too. Are Nephilims fallen angels? Yes. Who do you believe the two prophets are in Revelation, or do you think it's a representation? I believe the prophets are Enoch and Elijah, because it is appointed, there's a time for each man to die once. Neither of them have died. I believe that they come back for a short period of time. They serve out their time doing what God told them to do, and they are gunned down in the streets, basically killed in the streets, left for 3 days, resurrected, and brought up to heaven in front of everybody to see. And it's a great thing. And I think people are going to know that. There are people who have gone to heaven that said that that's the case, but that's what they've said, not what I've necessarily found in the Bible. But I do believe that those are the two witnesses. Okay, Sasquatch communicated to a woman and said they knew who Jesus was and could go to where he was and visit him. Can hybrids or Nephilim move to and from heaven? They can't enter into heaven anymore. Let me show you. They used to be able to. All right, at least Satan used to be able to. I don't know about. Wait a second here. Satan used to be able to. I don't know about the hybrid spirits, but let's go to Revelation 12. I'm going to pull up the New King James Version. It says, a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, that's the Draconta. And the dragon and his angels fought, but they did not prevail. Nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, the serpent of old. Okay, so now this is where things get a little weird. So let's go into the Greek. It says, the serpent of old. The great dragon, the ancient serpent, called the devil, or Satan, the one deceiving the whole world, was thrown down into the earth with all of his angels. Okay. Well, when we go and read that in Greek, that says, and was thrown down the Draconta, the dragon. And then it says, was thrown down the Dracon Homegas, the big dragon, the great dragon, the real big dragon, Ho Ophis Ho Archaeos, which means the serpent of antiquity, or the primal serpent. And when we look up at the Strong's Concordance, it means the ancient serpent, the primitive serpent, the original serpent, the first serpent, the oldest serpent, or the primeval serpent. Ancient of time comes where we get the word archaeos. Okay, then we look again, and there's a comma. So was cast down the great dragon, the ancient serpent, and then ho, the. Okay, so the same word ho, now they're saying means who in this context, instead of saying ho, the. But the first 3 times the word ho was used, it meant the, H-O, all right? It's actually just the letter O with the accent over top of it. And then it says the ancient, and then the ancient serpent, the Kaluminos, Diablos, Kai Hosetanas, Hope. Okay, so Kaluminos, the one called Diablos and Satan. Okay, so now we see here there's 3 beings that are cast down. Okay, and then they're thrown out. It is the big dragon, the great dragon, the mega dragon, the original serpent from the primeval times. The first serpent. Where was the first serpent ever mentioned in the Bible? Genesis chapter 3. And then it says, and the one called Kaluminos, Diablos, Kai Hosatanas. The one who was called Diablos, which means slanderer, and Satan, accuser. So there's 3 beings that were cast down from heaven. All right. So let's go back to reading this in the New King James. War broke out. All right. They were cast. The angels fought, but they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old called the devil and Satan. Isn't it interesting how it does not translate the same way in English as it does in Greek? But here we see that, okay? They were cast down. There was no longer a place found for them. He was cast to the earth, and his angels, and that's the word messengers, were cast out with him. And that might be when the angels were bound in heaven, because this seems to be the only place that we see where the angels were actually cast out of heaven, because other times we see that there's lying spirits coming before God and saying, we'll be lying spirits in their mouths. Angels aren't going to say that, because for an angel to lie, that would be sin. For anyone to lie, that would be sin. That's not going to happen from an angel, okay? So it said, I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ come. For the accuser of our brethren, who has accused them before our God day and night, has been cast down. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives to death. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time. Now, all of this time was happening when Jesus was born. Now, we know exactly when it happens, because Jesus says during this time, and you got to remember, John is not in chronological order, okay? The book of Revelation is not in chronological order, right? So what happens is John is seeing things from the beginning to the end in that vision, in that particular vision in Revelation 12, okay? Because then after that, it says, now when the dragon saw that he had been cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman who gave birth to the male child, okay? But the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness to her place. Maybe that represents America, I'm not sure. Where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the presence of the serpent. Interesting that it's the serpent who's going after the male child of the woman, not Satan. It's the serpent. Who was cursed in the garden? The serpent. What was cursed in the garden? The serpent's seed. Okay? So the serpent spewed water out of his mouth like a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away. But the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon spewed out of his mouth. And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to make war with the rest of her offspring, who keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus. Now listen to this. He went to make war with who? Her offspring, and those it's her offspring who keep the commandments of God and testimony. But let's take a look at this, okay? He went to make war with her, so against the church, and her offspring. Okay? Now we're going to look at this in Greek. So remember, the serpent was cursed. What was cursed in the garden? The serpent's seed was cursed, right? Okay? And the dracon, that's the original dragon, the first dragon, the one from the garden, went to wage war with the woman, and went to make war with the woman. The word for war here is meta. The word meta in today's language means to be transformed or changed. We have the word metamorphosis. If you watch the Flash, they call people whose DNA is altered metas, because it means changed, transformed, or altered, okay? But it can also mean with or among, okay? But it literally means properly to be changed afterwards, as in the result after an activity, meta. To look towards the after effect or change and result, which is only defined by the context here. Okay, so to be changed, transformed, or altered. So the seed went after what? It went after the woman, okay, went to make war with the woman, with the rest of the children. Okay, the word for children here is spermatos. So he went to change or alter the rest of the spermatos, seed. That word for spermatos literally is the word seed in Greek. Sperma means seed. So he went to alter the seed of the woman. So what do you think the mark of the beast is going to be in the end of days? It's a lot. People think that, all this dragon stuff, it's mythological, it's nonsense, it's hogwash. The Bible is not a myth. They make it very clear to tell you when something is a parable, but when it's not a parable, that's a reality. So if it says there's dragons, there's dragons. And guess where it says that Leviathan comes out of the sea. It also says in the book of Psalms that the Leviathan will be punished for his sins in the end of days, at the great day of the coming of the Lord, that he will be punished for his sins. Another place in Isaiah says that the serpent will eat dirt all the days of his lives. Well, what was the serpent cursed to do in Genesis 3? Eat dirt all the days of his lives. And why is he trying to alter or change? All through the Bible, we see the altering and the changing. The altering and the changing. Every time it talks about the hybrids, there was an alteration and a change that happened in a person's DNA. Is there any more questions on here? So Sasquatch communicated to a woman and said they know who Jesus was and they could go where he was and visit them. Can hybrids or Nephilim move to and from? No, they cannot. Not anymore. They can't go backward. They can go interdimensional, but they can only go between heaven and hell. And there's things in hell, it's so deceptive that they can make hell look like heaven. And they do that to people when they're bringing them in to torment them. We've learned this from my friend Brian, that these things happen. So that's some crazy stuff to think about. But you will actually see the veil between the supernatural realm torn off. What we're coming into is going to be so God showing up, so God saying and showing everybody that he's 100% real, that anyone who doesn't believe in God is truly a fool and is truly deceived by the great delusion. Then that great delusion, great deception is coming soon. Very, very, very soon, within our lifetimes, probably within the next 5 years or less, but let's just be safe and say within the next decade we're going to see this crap. So no, they don't know Jesus. They don't know the real Jesus. They have a fake Jesus. They will come with a false prophet who they're going to say is Jesus, but it's not going to be Jesus Christ. Okay? There's some things now. Okay. Do you believe the 144,000 are exactly 144,000 in number? Yes, because God said it was, and he didn't say that it was symbolic or anything like that, okay? And then somebody asked about dogmen and where did they come from. All of that pretty much explained with the Nephilim hybrids, all right? All right, so let's take a look here and see what some of the comments are, because I know that was a lot here. Nephilim are all around us. No, wrong. They're not. There's only one Nephilim loose right now, and that is Satan. Literally, if you read in Isaiah, it says, oh, Hallel, how you fallen. The word for fallen is Nephalta, and it's a singular masculine pronoun. One fallen angel, masculine. Actually, if you notice, there's no male or female in the Bible, but every time an angel is spoken about in the Bible, it's in a masculine sense. Think about that. That doesn't mean that they can't show up and look like different things. But anyway, my supervisor says he does not believe in Jesus because the alphabet J was not there at a certain timeline, to sum it up. Well, that's a pretty stupid reason not to believe in Jesus. Because Jesus' original name in Hebrew was Yeshua. But Jesus' name, how it's pronounced in any language, doesn't matter. You know, there's words for, like, if you say God bless you in German, it's Gesundheit. You say God bless you in English, it's God bless you, right? So am I not saying God bless you because I said it in a different language? That's nonsensical to me. No, he's a Nephilim. He has no guardian angel. I don't understand what you're saying here. Nope, he's a Nephilim. He has no guardian angel. That doesn't make any sense. Chris Angel is not a fallen angel. He's a human being, and he has demons that help him do the things that he's going to. You need to pray for him to be saved. But he's not a fallen angel, okay? Let's see. Demons can look like babies. Weird. Yes, there are little demons that look like little children. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe there's. I haven't seen any in heaven. I haven't heard of any making it to heaven, besides Kat Kerr, Kat Kerr's word to me, just, I don't know if what she says is true about heaven or not. I choose to not think that it is. But she says there's dinosaurs up there, but according to Kevin Zadai, he said there's not dinosaurs up there. They did not make it. So there's seraphim, there's fiery serpents and dragons and stuff, but they are not divine beings. They are not. The seraphim are, but the serpents and dragons on earth, they are not. Let's see. If a human spirit is given to a hybrid body baby, would that result in Calvinistic infant damnation, making the person a demon without their choice? No, they would have a choice. I don't know how God works that out, but obviously they would have a choice. But any of these spirits, when they die, they don't choose God for whatever reason. They reject God. So it's not that he doesn't give them the choice to worship him. Maybe, who knows, maybe he lets them come up to heaven and then they get to choose while they're in heaven, where there's no sin or temptation. But I don't know the answer to that. I don't believe in Calvinism. I don't believe that anybody's just born to die. I believe that God gives everybody the choice, because he went and sent Enoch out to prophesy to them at the time that Enoch was alive. They didn't receive it. He went to prophesy to man, woman, and child. They wouldn't receive it. Noah went and prophesied to man, woman, and child when he was building the ark. They didn't receive it. God destroyed them all. People went into Sodom and Gomorrah and prophesied. They didn't receive it. When Sodom and Gomorrah happened, Noah was still alive. So he was watching all the stuff that he saw happen before the flood starting to happen again with Nimrod, when all that stuff started to happen. Abraham was 40 years old when Noah passed away. Just something to think about. Let's see. Will our DNA continue to degenerate over time due to sin? No one lives as long as Adam or Noah anymore. We will continue to degenerate until the millennial reign, and then we go back to living 1,000 years. And then after that 1,000 years, when God comes back with the great white throne, then we will live forever, and there will be no more degeneration. Okay. Perhaps hybrid babies are spiritless and subsequently inhabited by a disembodied demon. I don't think so. I think they have their own spirit. I think they have their own choice. Why can they torment people without themselves being tormented? It's not their time to be tormented yet. I actually did a whole chapter on this in my book, which we're almost done. We're almost ready to put out. And I'm not going to try and promote that right now. I'm just giving you the answers. Why they're able to torment humans is it's not their time to be tormented, basically. And, the demons come and they even say to Jesus when he goes over to the Gadarenes, have you come to torment us before our time? They know that and that word for time was kairos. It's an appointed time and place. It's the exact time and place that's been predestined, predetermined, right? But they haven't done that yet. They're allowed to remain here. They're sowing, and they're going to reap a harvest of eternal damnation in that day. But there's that's why they're not there yet. So there's like more to the answer, but that's the very simple answer if you can receive it or not. All right. Have you seen anything as to regards to home prices? Nope. What are your thoughts? Hold on.
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Hold on, my Cortana is trying to talk to me. I don't know how to make it stop.
Hi.
Hopefully it will just stop. Can you guys still hear me?
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri, turn off. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Kat Kerr? I don't need to get into that right now. I've talked about it before in the past. I just don't believe her. All right, so it looks like that's all of the questions, so that should be all for the Q&A today. Remember that tonight is our weekly partner meeting, so if you want to be a part of that and become a partner, if you're already a partner and you don't have the meeting link, please message us and let us know. That would be very helpful. And anything else? Like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. If you want to donate to the minister and the person at our church, please feel free to do that. They have to get a lot of work done on their car to come home. Their mom just died, and the other guy only gets $1,000 a month, but he needs his dogs trained. He's a retired veteran. He's 70 years old, doesn't even own a car, but he's committed and faithful to coming to church at the river where we go to church. So all of that will be greatly appreciated, and I'm sure they will appreciate that as well. So until next time, love you guys, be blessed, and I will see you tomorrow for tomorrow's headlines today.